Hey parents, hi, this is Dr. Mack and welcome. Glad you could join us for your, what may be your first ever curriculum webinar for your students. So let me give you a little overview of what to expect from the curriculum webinar. What we do with this webinar is to give you information about second semester of first grade. And really the reason we choose to do this format is to meet you where you are. We know it's difficult for many of you to come on site. So we're hoping that this is convenient for you to work into your natural day, whether you're at work or you're somewhere else. So we'd love feedback on this format. So at the end of the webinar, if you want to shoot me an email or one of the teachers, we're always open to feedback about the format. So with that, I want to talk to you about the options you have through Zoom. We will take questions as a part of the webinar, and it is being recorded. So if you know someone who can join us live, once the recording is uploaded to YouTube by our technology team, then I will push out the link to parents so that those who couldn't attend with us today can still get the information. Or, of course, you can watch it as many times as you want to. Maybe great, sleep options as well. I do want to let you know we will take questions as a part of the webinar. If you see, you do have a chat option as a part of your Zoom on your device, whether you're using a tablet or a desktop or a mobile device. What we do with questions, what I'd love for you to do is as soon as it pops into your head, go ahead and type it into the chat box. And we will moderate those questions at the end of the webinar, and I will read those questions out, and then we'll all join in answering those. One thing I do want to tell you about the chat box, please make sure that if you're typing a question that you type it to everyone, because that makes it easier for me to see, or Mr. Nama, who's also in the room, to see that you've submitted a question. We've had some parents do it privately, and then we never see the question, or we see it after the fact, and we want to make sure that we're seeing those and responding to you. So to let you know who's in the room today, of course, I'm here, but also is Mrs. McFarland, Ms. King, and Mrs. Tereshinsky, and then Mr. Nama, who is our Director of Technology, is in the room, and he's helping us manage the technology portion of the webinar. If you do have questions about technology, he's an awesome resource, and he'll jump in and answer those questions as well. I'm going to turn it over to the first grade team.
Awesome. Welcome. This is Mrs. Tereshinsky. We just kind of wanted to give an overview of what you will be seeing in this webinar. We're going to look at our upcoming curriculum and any changes that might be occurring in second semester. We'll also be talking about some fun and exciting upcoming events. If we first, we're going to talk about our phonics and spelling. So far this year, we have covered all of our short vowel spelling rules, and we have begun long vowel spelling rules. We've kind of listed here a list of some phonics concepts that you will be seeing in second semester. So we'll be seeing things like vowel teams, the 3 sounds of ED, bossy R, consonant LE, diphthongs, 3 sounds of Y, reading hard and soft C and G, and then compound words and multisyllable words. We have also begun syllable division in our class. In first grade, they will actually learn all 7 syllable types, and they'll be learning how to divide the words into syllables. In addition, we have begun our Brain Boost assessments and DIBELS tests. This is our mid-year, and we'll also do an end-of-the-year assessment, and you will get to hear about those and learn about those during our conference times.
Hey, this is Ms. McFarland. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about fluency. So this semester, we begin to focus more on becoming more fluent readers. This means paying attention to punctuation, expression, and pace. We really want students to not read like robots. So really, instead of doing a finger on every single word, more smooth. So we'll be practicing to become strong readers with really good pace, expression, and practice makes perfect. So please practice at home. As well as this, we have sent home a sight word packet, which some of you have already seen. You can continue practicing with this at home because this is all the words that they will often be seeing in their books. Also, starting next week, they'll be reading fluency words, and here's an example of the list. This is all within the classroom, and we'll practice them at the beginning of the week, and we'll time them and see if we can speed it up by the end of the week just to practice their fluency. Also with this, we will continue doing journeys this semester, lessons 17 through 30. We will continue reading a mixture of fiction and nonfiction texts. Also with this, the biggest difference is that our test will no longer be read aloud. They will be reading both their comprehension and their phonics or vocab part of the test. So we really are encouraging you that when you're at home, please work with them on reading their own directions and their own problems to get them ready for this.
Hi parents, Ms. King here. I'm going to talk a little bit about our writing expectations this semester. Something that we're really focusing on as a goal by the end of the year is that all students are writing at least 5 sentences per entry. So every time they write, they should be writing at least 5 sentences. And if they write more than that, that's fantastic. We'll be doing a lot of review about nouns, verbs, adjectives, and commas in a series. We'll be doing narrative writing, more persuasive writing, and some how-to writing. And then we'll also be discussing how author's purpose connects to reading. In math, we'll be finishing up the rest of our Go Math series. We're currently right now on chapter 6, which is counting and modeling numbers, which talks all about base tens with using groups of tens, as in rods of 10 and units. Coming up next after that in chapter 7 is comparing numbers, and we'll be using the greater than, less than, and equal than symbols to compare numbers. After that, we'll move on to 2-digit addition and 2-digit subtraction. Once we're done with that, our measurement chapter covers both time and when we do the actual measurement part, it's more so of a focus on non-standard measurement and comparing lengths as opposed to inches or centimeters. And the time portion of that chapter 9 measurement chapter I'm talking about focuses on hour and half hour telling time. After that, we'll move on to representing data as far as reading graphs, getting data from the graphs, interpreting the graphs. We've already done some work in chapter 12 already this year. Before we left for Christmas, we did a little bit of introduction to 2D shapes. And we'll also be, before the year is out, discussing 3D shapes, and that will be new.
We just wanted to also give you a reminder about some Go Math online resources. You should have received your child's Go Math login, username, and password. So if you ever wanted to go on and kind of use some other resources, this is sort of an example of a student homepage. The categories that I would recommend using the most would be things like in My Library. Inside of the My Library, there are things like the personal Go Math trainer and some different blocks that they can use to make numbers, and just some different resources there that might help them with the Go Math that they're learning in the classroom.
And this is Dr. Mackey, and I'm going to jump in and point out the Math on the Spot video tutorials. One of the things that we really liked about this math program is this online resource, both for parents as well as children. And as your children get older, the independence level and the onus will be on them logging in and actually making use of these resources on their own. But we realize that you're still guiding them a lot at home. So as you log in, those video tutorials actually will walk you through even how things were taught in class. But I will tell you, in the first grade teachers don't expect you to be reteaching or teaching your children these math concepts at home. We know this is not the way that you were taught when you were coming through school. It wasn't the way we were taught math. Math has definitely shifted in focus and instruction. What we would prefer still, and I think the first grade team will also reinforce this in just a little bit, is if your child is struggling at home and can't do the reinforcement or review with the homework, we would rather you make a note of it and send it back into the teachers, because the teachers need that information to know what lessons they need to reinforce in the classroom.
As far as other things coming up in math, we'll also be practicing in class a lot of fact fluency. Ms. McFarland just talked about what reading fluency is, and math fluency is the same thing, just knowing basic math facts quickly. Since we're doing lots of practice in it or with it in class, it would be a great thing for you guys to practice at home as well. If you've got any kind of flashcards are great to help with that. Also, other things coming up, thinking about the very end of the year, the summer math packet will be going live at the very beginning part of the summer, just to help your child make sure that they stay sharp with their first grade math skills in preparation for second grade.
Also, in preparation for second grade, we are kind of have some different social expectations. Our expectations shift so that we're preparing them for second grade. So we're thinking about things like organization and time management and being really accountable for our work. So we're really asking the kids to take their time on their work, but make sure they're completing their work in a timely manner and really taking pride in what they do. We're also looking for that independence on homework assignments and assignments within the classroom. By all means, we're still here to help your child, and we're going to assist them and make sure they're understanding the concepts. But we're also looking to kind of let go a little bit and see what they can do on their own. We'll continue to work on building our students' stamina, especially in reading, math, and writing.
As I mentioned earlier, students will be reading their test on their own this semester. They will still be taking their weekly spelling test, but they also will be taking their vocabulary phonics test and comprehension test, and those will be done by themselves. Of course, if they have a question or get stuck on a word, we are there to help, but really, we're really just trying to get them to be independent readers. When they are taking their test, we are encouraging students to read slowly and carefully so that they don't make silly mistakes, and they're also really just practicing this at home will help so much as well. So making sure you tell them, go back and check your homework, make sure you did everything correctly. That's going to help them so much in school as well.
Projects, special projects coming up. It's a big part of second semester. You guys have already received information about the biography in a bag book report. Just a quick reminder that it's due at the end of this month on January 29th. In February, our big project is going to be a poster book report. In March, we'll be doing just our normal reading logs. And in March and April, it's a big culminating project for the end of the year where your child will actually do a book commercial at home with you, and you'll videotape it or record it on your smartphone or iPad and email it to us, and we'll share them with the class. It's lots of fun. The next big project in March through the end of the year is our state postcard project, and just learning about states and the United States of America. We kind of have a little bit of a competition to see whose class can collect the most postcards. So if you guys are going on any kind of vacations out of state, or if you know anybody who lives out of state that can send in postcards, that would be fantastic. And then our very last project, Time to Teach, is when your child will be turned over as the teacher to the class. They'll all get a chance to present to the class about something that they're really interested in. So like if your son's really interested in baseball and he wants to teach us about a swing, that would be a great time. If your daughter maybe takes ballet and wants to teach the class about how to do a ballet plie, that would be a great time to teach them something like that as well. Just whatever your child's interested in, it's their time to teach the class about it.
Another fun project that we've actually started last week is our January STEAM project. This is happening in lieu of our Fun Fridays in the month of January. The first graders are in charge of coming up with their own design for an unused space at school that can be turned into an outdoor classroom. I think the kids are really excited about this, and we'll be continuing to work on this on every Friday of this month and going actually into February a little bit. The students have been placed into groups and will be brainstorming, designing, and creating small models of an outdoor classroom that can be used by our school. We really look forward to sharing our results with you and presenting them to Dr. Mack.
I can't wait. I love this.
Another change is our new technology night, which is on Wednesday nights. So in first semester, you might have seen some sight word bags coming home on Wednesdays, and that was their kind of Wednesday night homework in addition to math. In second semester, we do something called technology night. So you will be seeing a sheet that will come home, and it has your child's Raz Kids and Reading Eggs login information. And what we ask is we would like for them to do a minimum of 10 minutes on one of those programs. So one Wednesday night, it could be Raz Kids, and maybe the next week you do Reading Eggs, and maybe you alternate. But we're asking again for a minimum of 10 minutes. The kids seem to really enjoy this, so by all means, we'd love it if they want to do more, but at least a minimum of 10. And they will not be having phonics or reading homework on this night. This will be kind of their homework. They will still receive a paper copy of their math homework, but we're trying to really get them excited about reading, working on that fluency and comprehension. And we thought the computer is a great opportunity to do this.
Let me jump in here because I experienced something over the weekend with my niece, Kaylee. She had been automatically logged into Raz Kids and Reading Eggs under her kindergarten teacher's login. And for whatever reason, it logged her out. When she went to log back in, it would no longer allow her to log in because now it transitioned over to the new year. So please make sure you're using your current login information. That way, your child's current teacher can keep track of what's been done in the system rather than if they were here for kindergarten, still staying logged in under that old username and password.
This is just an example of a sheet you'll see. And what we're asking is that if you can just sign and date each time they do it, just so that we can kind of keep track of it. And also, if you have ever any comments about what they're reading or anything that you'd like for us to know, you can always put it in the comment section. So again, you'll see this on every Wednesday night.
The 100th day of school. It's coming up very soon on January 31st. It's first grade tradition to dress up as if we're all 100 years old. Your child's also going to get a little Ziploc baggie and some instructions about bringing in 100 small items. It'll be part of our 100th Day Museum, and students will get to share what they've brought in with the whole first grade. We do a big walk around in everybody's classroom. Please make sure the items, though, are definitely small enough to fit inside a Ziploc bag. I hope you guys have a really fun time picking out outfits and what you're going to wear for the 100th day of school, but there's things that we're asking that children don't wear. Those things are listed, as you can see on the screen here, and especially please don't put gray hairspray in your child's hair. It just gets messy throughout the day. Field trips. We've got field trips coming up. We have an in-house field trip. An author, a very famous and loved author, Carmen Dede, will be coming here to visit with kindergarten and first grade on Wednesday, February 5th. So that's happening in-house. We're not going to be leaving for that. But the next field trip that we will be leaving campus for is the High Museum field trip on the 20th. And we'll also be going to Piedmont Park in May on the 7th to learn about bees.
Woohoo! Conferences. They will be on Friday, February 21st. Please make sure before coming that you read your child's conference report so that you know what we might be chatting about. Be on the lookout for our Sign Up Genius link, which will be going out on Monday, February 3rd, no earlier than 4 o'clock. Another reminder is that the music concert will be Wednesday, February 12th at 6:30.
Also, just talking about weather, please make sure your child's dressed appropriately. I know this is kind of silly me talking about this right now because it's so warm, but when it is cold, please make sure they have jackets or sweaters, and please label all jackets and sweaters because they tend to wander off.
Next week, the high's supposed to be 45. There you go. It's crazy in January.
Georgia weather. Just another little reminder, just to make sure that your child's leaving any kind of distracting bracelets, watches, or toys, just anything that could become a distraction in class, just to please leave those kinds of things at home so they come to school ready to learn.
And I'm actually going to jump in and just use some just general elementary school reminders, quite honestly. For checkouts, please make sure that you email your child's teacher as well as our front desk if your child is going to be getting checked out early. The teachers are actively engaged during the day with their children, your children, and you may send an email that they are not able to read, and then we weren't prepared to get your child packed up to then be ready for when you call for him or her. There is always someone at the front desk. So anytime you need to get a message or some information to your child's teacher, it's always better to make sure the front desk has that information, because they can either walk down to the teacher's classroom, they can pop into my office if it's something we can relay to them, or they can call into the classroom to make the teacher aware. I don't want to assume the teacher has time to constantly be checking email during the day. In fact, my expectation is they read it when they first get here at 7:30 in the morning, and then again before they leave for the evening. So my expectation for them is that they're actively engaged during the day and won't necessarily have time to check or respond to emails during the school day. Also, it's, as it says on here, to do, it's really important if you have a change at the last minute, like if you're going to go carpool instead of Explorers when you usually go to Explorers, it's important the front desk knows that so they can relay that information to the teacher. And then if you look on the right side, there's some information on communication and independence on the part of our first grade students. I want to remind all of our parents that we do have a 24-hour policy on responding to communications. As that just goes back to our teachers are supposed to be actively engaged during the day. And I'm going to share this, and I've shared this with every grade level. I'm going to talk about this in parent council tomorrow too, just to reinforce to everyone that my expectation is once our teachers leave for the evening, I want them to be home with their families, so they may not check email at night. So just know that the first time they see an email may be the next morning or Monday morning or when we're coming back from a school vacation, and be able to respond to you. So just want to make sure everybody understands we do have that 24-hour policy. And the last thing that I want to share too, in terms of independence level for first graders, they are on the second grade side of first grade, which is crazy to think about. Seems like they just crossed the bridge into elementary school. At this point, we want them walking themselves to the classroom and unpacking themselves. That is a large part of developing that level of independence and the ability of developing work habits and work skills. So I know that may be cutting the strings for some of you as well, but it's so crucial in the development of their independence, and they get such joy out of knowing they can do those things on their own. Okay, with that, we come to the question part of our webinar. Know that we already have one question here, which is awesome. But please, as we are talking through answering this question, looks like, are there some other private ones, Mr. Namath? Okay. Please, as we're talking through this, go ahead and type some in if you would like. So I'm going to read the questions out so everyone in the group can hear this and we can respond. So the first question is, did you mention that this presentation will be emailed out? Yes, it is being recorded. Once Mr. Nama is able to get it uploaded to YouTube and shares the link with me, I will push it out. I'm going to wait until all the grade level webinars have been done, and then I'm going to push one notification out to the entire elementary school with all the links to the webinars. Now, once the individual grade level teachers get their links, they'll go ahead and post them on their class web pages as well. So you'll be able to access it either through your child's homeroom teacher page, as well as an all elementary school notification as well. Good question, Melissa Berry. You always ask great questions, my friend. What is the front desk email address? That front desk email address is receptionist, singular, right, Chris? Mm-hmm. Receptionist at stmartinschool.org. And then, Chris, I know you can see the private message that was sent. Can you read that?
What is the music concert, and is the first grade performing?
The music concert is for first and second grade. So, yes, they will be performing. They've been practicing in music class, and they are super excited. Yeah. And any questions can go to their teacher, Ms. Bauer.
Mm-hmm. And my assistant Liz will be pushing out an invite to you with information directly from Ms. Bauer and Ms. KG, who starts teaching music in second grade through 8th grade. So you'll have more information about that. We call it an informant. because it's really to highlight what they've been learning in their music class all year. And in that invite, we'll let you know what time they need to be here, what time the performance actually starts, what they should plan on wearing. It's a short and sweet performance. We know they're still young, so it lasts roughly about 30 minutes. Usually we require students to be here about 6 o'clock. The informant usually starts around 6:30, but Liz will be pushing all that information out to you as well. And as we shared in the presentation, it is required attendance and is a part of the music grade. And here we go. And then says, thanks for all the info. Any chance you have a calendar view of key dates? Now, I would recommend that you just go online to the school calendar. That's where everything is housed. And that's the best way, because if something changes, that calendar is automatically updated, which then it'll actually update on your end as well when you log into the school system. That way you have the most accurate and most up-to-date information. So thank you. Awesome. Okay, any other, oh, here we go. We have been using this is for Brian. We have been using our old RAS Kids account. Have the new accounts been given out?
Yes, they were given out in August, but a new copy will be on the parent sign and sheets that will be going home today.
And there's also little mini cards of it stapled inside their red folders.
So yeah.
Are you guys questioned out, my first grade parents? So we are going to wrap this up. Mr. Nama and I have to run. We're getting updated on our CPR certification, because we do that every 2 years to make sure that we're ready to step in case anybody needs those skills, which I hope nobody ever does, quite honestly. So once I get the link, we'll push it out to everyone. The teachers will upload it to the web page. If you go back and you think through the information that was shared here and you have other questions that pop in your brain, please don't hesitate to email any of us who are in this room. We're happy to continue this conversation. And of course, if you have feedback on the format, we are all ears about that. We want to make sure that we are sharing information with you in a format that is convenient and timely as well. So once again, I want to say thank you for joining us, and you guys have a great Wednesday afternoon and evening.